In 2019, Samoa experienced a tragic measles outbreak. Over 5,000 cases were reported and 83 lives were lost, most of them young children. The outbreak is often blamed on low vaccination rates, with some holding Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his organization, Children's Health Defense, responsible for the outbreak and the deaths. But does the timeline of these events support those accusations? The story begins in July 2018 when 2 infants died shortly after receiving the measles, mumps, rubella, or MMR vaccine. The Samoan government immediately recalled the vaccine and suspended the program, calling for a full investigation. It wasn't until April 2019, 10 months into the suspension of the vaccine program, where no child was allowed to be vaccinated by order of the government, that the Director of Health announced to the public that human error had caused the death of the 2 infants, and the government's decision was at that point to resume the vaccine program. The vaccine had been improperly mixed with an expired muscle relaxant, and the nurses responsible for this error were sentenced to more than 5 years in prison for those actions. The suspension of the vaccine program caused vaccination rates to plummet to just 31% by the end of 2018. The program didn't restart until April 2019, months before RFK Jr.'s visit, which was later that June. The government's actions caused the lack of vaccination. They prevented anyone from being vaccinated. The 31% rate is the result of this ban on vaccinations, while the government determined what the cause of the infants' deaths were. By the time RFK Jr. visited, vaccination rates had already dropped drastically because of this ban. The death of the 2 babies caused by the nurse's error and the prolonged suspension period, compounded with poor communication, had already sown fear and mistrust amongst parents naturally. RFK Jr.'s presence in Samoa occurred after these issues were well underway. Claims that RFK Jr. caused the outbreak completely ignore this critical timeline and actions taken by the Samoan government. Many stories don't even mention the timeline or the government's suspension of their program, which makes me think they're likely reporting off of other news sources and not doing any primary source journalism. Before his visit, vaccination rates were already very low, and systemic failures, not misinformation, were the primary cause of the low vaccination rates that preceded the measles outbreak in Samoa. We have put all these facts back into context so that you can read and investigate and come to your own conclusion about who is at fault when it comes to this outbreak that happened in Samoa. Please visit brokenscience.org/investigations to begin uncovering for yourself all of the facts in this case.